Hey everybody, what is up? This is Devin Lavore and
Michelle Lavore
coming at ya. And I just have to say, I love doing this. Our videos have not been as frequent as I would like. But when you go through the video and you listen to everything that's been going on, it's just like you can see how God just packed it all in for just this one video. Mm-hmm. He's packed in this whole theme and this entire story. You don't want just 21 chapters of a 23-page book. You know what I mean? And so yeah, we're pretty excited to be here doing this. It's such an honor, and I just love it. I just love it. So so welcome to the channel, and hope you guys are going to be blessed by this. The Lord has been amping up the story.
Yep.
He's really been amping up the story, and there's just cool stuff to talk about, and we're going to get into it. But we also always want to give a huge shout out and thank you and a huggins to those who support us financially in this journey that we've been on for so many years. The story that you've seen God writing, the ups and downs, we just really appreciate people who God has brought into our lives. God himself has brought into our lives to support us. It's just like, it's been amazing.
Yeah.
We're a family of 6. Okay, you don't do this without the Lord.
Yeah.
You can beg and plead and connive and do whatever you want to do all you want, and it's not going to work. Mm-hmm. Unless you have the Lord God Almighty with you, it's not going to work. Particularly living the way we live. It's just you just see the hand of God on it, and so we just thank you. Because we are a support-based ministry YouTube channel, and if you would like to give to us right now, the only thing we have is a PayPal and Cash App, and the link is below. And if you would like to give, you can give there. And you want to just jump into it?
Yeah. So we are going to be doing Act 3, Scene 9 of this restoration play that the Lord has us in.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be covering just this last week and what God has been doing. And I'm going to start off because this last week has really been a week where I feel like God has
prophetic vision fulfillment.
It really has been a prophetic vision that we got back on October 25th of 2021. And I feel like it really has been fulfilled. Basically, on Saturday, June 4th of this year, Devin, he came home, and we talked about this in our last video, but he came back from the store, and he came in at 5:59. And he immediately was just like, man, I'm feeling this shift in the spirit. And I was like, oh, well, it's basically...
And it felt good, too. It was like I was shifting into this really good thing. I was like, man, I feel good.
Yeah.
I'm not used to this.
Yeah. It's like,
especially when you're in war constantly for the last several years, Yeah. It's like, this feels awesome. It's almost like vacation-y. What's that?
What is this? And so... but it was also basically the start of Pentecost, because in the Hebrew calendar, they start their days at 6 p.m. in the evening and go until the next, till 6 p.m. in the evening, which would be the next day. And so it was just like, whoa, this is the start of Pentecost. And as we talked about, it was this going through this door. Well, Saturday night, I don't know, I just kept thinking about this vision that Devin had back in October. I actually had to go back through my notes and look up when it was exactly. I kind of knew the range of time, but I went back through, and I was just like, man, I really feel like this might be what's happening right now. And in that vision, it was we were sitting on the bench, we were sitting on a bench. This is from basically what we're calling personally the doc series visions, where we just had many visions throughout September and October of us being on a dock, and we just went on through this whole journey with the Lord. But we ended up being sat on
docks and boats and beaches and walking.
Yeah.
A great big yacht.
Yeah.
That we have yacht to get onto.
Because we're sitting on a bench. And so we've been sitting on this bench, and in this particular vision, Devin said we were all sitting, we were just kind of chilling out, but he was basically covered with this like egg shape type thing where he was basically
like an egg of light
entering into this other like realm, so to speak. It's like we were all just sitting like in the dark twilight time, but then in this you were covered with this egg-shaped bubble, and inside
I was with you guys, but I wasn't.
Yeah, but it was like,
I was in the kingdom. I was somewhere else, just like it was a glorious place.
Yeah, and so he's in this egg-shaped bubble, and in that bubble it's complete daylight, and he's just getting revelation, seeing things from the Lord, and it was just really, just this glorious time for him while we're just all kind of sitting on the bench, just kind of hanging out. Well, so on Saturday night and into Sunday, I'm just like, Lord, I really feel like this is what's happening. And I'm not kidding you. This entire week has been for Devin, I feel like this time where he is in this bubble with the Lord, and God is just showing him, like he's had just, I don't know, so many encounters with the Lord this week, even prophesying over our entire family.
And the kids have been particularly non-shareable this week.
Like they've just been like super kind of chill. Even for me, I've been just kind of sitting there chill as far as like my role. Usually, I lead the nighttime God times, Devin's in the morning, and it's been pretty much Devin this entire week.
Morning and night.
And so it's just like, wow.
It hasn't felt like a burden or labor even at all.
No, you've basically been in this bubble of like joyous time with the Lord, and just like really God also speaking again into what we're going into, what his heart is for us.
Well, can I touch on something there? Because I just don't want to forget it. But the Lord gave me a word, and he said, you're going through this door, and now you're about to see, you're just going to see and experience, because in this dream that I had recently, I went through this door. I went from this kind of not so great place. I took an elevator and I entered into this amazing place, right? And it's like, what's the first thing you did when you got out the elevator? You went through that door, you just walked around and you looked and you were amazed, and you're just like, whoa, this is amazing. That's kind of like where I've been.
Yeah. And so I feel like they really line up, because both the dream, which is in the last video, if you want to see that, you can just
I can't repeat
click on that.
There's no click repeat for that one.
But it's basically, I feel like you walking through the door, like in the dream, and
door
coming
of Pentecost
into this place where it's just, there's opportunity, there's hope, is the same as this egg bubble vision of you being in this place where you just felt great, and it was just like, this is so awesome.
Felt a big huge burst of hope.
It
wasn't a flicker, it was like a sudden boof bonfire. I was amazed.
And so
lots of different pictures to say the same thing. Kind of like the parables of Jesus. They were all just talking about the kingdom of God.
And so I just think it's like it was really awesome that here we are coming into Pentecost, and there is this fulfillment of a vision that we had back in October. And it's super significant to us because, and honestly, we spent our whole God time tonight going through literally I went back through my notes and going through the doc series visions, and just
because the Lord said another season's coming.
He told us that probably a couple months ago.
It's official, another season's coming.
but it's just been like, okay, well, when is it coming? So much of the time, like on those things, it's like an official season's coming, but you don't know when it's actually gonna come. And it was probably like maybe even 2.5 months ago or so. The Lord was like, hey, there's going to be another season of these doc series visions, which we didn't expect. We didn't know. And so now to
I think it's going to be the manifestation of the things we've been seeing, because we're in a time of manifestation since January 2nd. And it's like, I think we're going to see the manifestation of those things.
Yeah.
And then, like, what does it look like lived out in life as opposed to a prophetic vision?
And so I think that's kind of what we've started to see. It's like, here you go. Hey, let's go back through. And so that's what we did tonight. We just kind of went back through and went through a lot of the visions, and it was so interesting because so many of the visions, they were actually happening right in the moment, right then, and it was pertaining to what God was doing in our hearts and lives at that moment. But then there were quite a few visions that were prophetic, where it was like, okay, well, this clearly hasn't happened yet, and it's something that is for that God's going to do later. And so to have, I feel like this week, the vision of you sitting on the bench with just being surrounded and like having this bubble around you, I'm like, wow, I believe that that's happened this week. And it's almost like, ooh, all right, Lord, is this the start of the new series, or is it just like us getting ready to enter in, because a lot of times they start to play reruns, like when you're getting ready to get the new season, it's like, hey, let's review, let's go through this.
Do you want to recap, or do you want to watch the whole season again? Come on, you choose. We're getting you ready for what's coming.
So you're just ready to go. You're not missing anything, and you're just like, all right, here we go. And so that's kind of what we were doing tonight. But I just wanted to say that because I really feel like it kind of is a picture of this last week, and how it really has been Devin in a bubble with the Lord. And so he's going to just basically...
I'm going to take you into the bubble.
Yeah. And share.
Well, the interesting thing about that vision, sometimes I hesitate to say certain things because I don't want to cause anybody's conscience to stumble or anything like that. But for those of you who have been following us for any length of time, the Lord speaks to us through prophetic numbers, signs, songs, particularly like sometimes he speaks to us through what you might call secular songs, and there's just this song that comes up in my head, and I'm like, what is this? And I just know it's the Lord, and it's like one of the, and for me, sometimes I go, if I was to share this with someone, what would they think? Would they think I was just off my rocker? Because that's not the Lord. The Lord wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? But there's this one song from Maroon 5, not a band that I would recommend you listen to because some of their lyrics are really bad. But there's this one song called Daylight. I believe that's what it's called. And it's just been going through my head periodically throughout the week, Sweetie Pea, and I'm really just realizing that right now.
Wow.
As soon as you said daylight, he was surrounded by daylight. It was just like, oh my word. Like, I need the Lord more than you realize. Because, am I right?
Yeah.
Like, stuff will be right in front of my face, and I'm like, Sweetie Pea, what are you talking about? Huh? I don't know, I'm just getting this sense of a hand. I don't know why. It's because it's in front of your face, dude. That's why. And it's like that song Daylight. It just kept going on in my head, in the daylight, in just that part, in the daylight. See, it's like when God highlights something like that, he's not highlighting the whole song and he's saying, this is my heart for you, this is what I'm speaking to you. No, there's this one song by I forget her name, but it says it's going to be a new day for you. That part would just go in my head over and over. Was it in 2020?
Yeah.
Or something like that? It's a new day for you. And so this whole week, that song's just been kind of in and out, like daylight, in the daylight, into, and I just realized that just now. And the funny thing is, about the doc vision, when I was having that, the vision that you just talked about, it was literally like, it was probably like that 5 o'clock in the morning hour, like just like maybe in half an hour and a half, depending on what time of the year it is, it was going to be daylight. And you're going to be, and then that's when that's when like some of the cooler visions took place, was in the daylight. Some of our other visions took place in the twilight hour, and then once those twilight hour visions were fulfilled, we just crossed instantly into this daylight. I don't want to get into all of those, but it just hit me right then. I'm just like, oh my word, this is just so cool. So this week has been just a week for me of just prophetic numbers, prophetic signs, prophetic words, visions, and just a massive amount of it really has been just a dip into the hot tub of God's heart. And he's just there with me. He's just like, oh yeah, let me share this with you, and let me share that with you, and this and that and this and that. It's not so much Jesus hanging out with his disciples before he got crucified, but what I imagine it would have been like after he rose from the dead and he came and appeared to them. There was just so much cool stuff he was sharing, but it was kind of on that intimate level of the kind of stuff that he shared before the crucifixion in the upper room. And I'm just like, wow. So I'll just start and just kind of go through the week. Sunday, I was getting this prophetic number that's associated to the address of the house that we're believing for, and we get that number periodically. But I was getting this number like crazy on Sunday. It was like crazy. And I'm like, God, what are you saying? And a lot of this is going to be prophetic symbolism. So if you're offended by that or stumble at that, well, you're probably listening to the wrong channel to begin with. So you're like, was that necessary to say? I don't know, but I said it, okay? Leave me alone. No, I'm just kidding. Just joking. But yeah, and I just felt like the Lord was saying, like, to expect that there's going to be, well, let me just lay the groundwork, I guess, again, that everything I'm saying is like, this is what the Lord is showing me, like in the dream when I went through the door, and I'm looking at all this stuff happening, and I'm just taking it all in, and I'm just like, oh man, this is what he's saying. This is what he's actually saying to us. This is what he said. I'm going to start to see and take in what this school has to offer. This next season of training is going to have to offer. This is what's going to be happening. This is what's going to be taking place. And now remember, since January 2nd, we're in a time of manifestation. So the Lord is speaking a lot of manifestation stuff. Okay? And so the Lord was basically saying, I saw this number like 6 times in like a couple hours. And it's crazy, because it's like when you see the number, when you see whatever prophetic number you see, and you see it 3 times, it usually means a manifestation of that number, whatever it is. 555, it's going to be a manifestation of God's grace on you to go through or encounter something, go through a difficult time or encounter this major blessing. But either way, it's going to be the favor of the Lord. Like you might say that the Hebrew boys that got thrown into the fire, they had a 555 moment where it was just like, whoa, they were the grace of God to go through that, and they came out not even smelling of smoke. That's what. So it doesn't mean you're not going to go through a hard time because you have the grace of God and the favor of God. But a lot of times it can be the exact opposite. It can be Joseph being elevated, But the bottom line is that when you see the number 3 times, like a triple of the number, like a 777 or something like that, then it's the manifestation of it. You're getting ready to see it. And so I'm looking at a triple number of this address 2 times. It's just like, and so when you see it 2 times, it's like a triple double, You see it 2 times, it's a manifestation, and I'm confirming and affirming in you that this is established in heaven. It's going to happen. So when I speak this to you, just believe it. There's no need to doubt. There's no reason to doubt. So the Lord was like, expect the manifestation of the house. Not just our physical house, but we're believing for, but the house, us, the Lavore household. Then Monday came along. There's a lot that we could share, but I'm just trying to keep it concise as I can because Devin is a storyteller. I'll go off. I'll go Silmarillion on everybody. And so on Monday...
Maybe it's more like War and Peace.
I prefer it my way. Well, that's from a movie anyway. And so... yeah, I can go War and Peace on you. But on Monday, it was, I saw 47, 47, 47. Now, it's easy to see the 111 and the 222 and the 555, all that, right? You can just see it and the Lord will point it out. But to point out numbers like this is just like 3 of them in a row. Like, wow, that's like right in a row. I'm not talking, I saw a 47 there and a 47 here and then a 47 there. Oh, no, I'm talking about 47, 47, 47. Boom. Right there, right there on some sort of something that the Lord's pointing out. He's like highlighting it. And this whole week has just been a week of prophecy, of manifestation and promise. It has just been amazing. And so that comes from Zechariah 4:7, which says, who are you, O mountain of human obstacles, before Zerubbabel and Joshua, who are taking up the rebuilding of the temple. They're taking up the rebuilding of the temple. What's the temple right now? Well, it's the body of Christ. But it's also the the home we're believing for. We're going to be building that up. It's going to be a rebuilding process of that place to make it look amazing. And so the Lord's like, so this 47, what does that mean? The manifestation of God with us to take down every human obstacle and hear people cry, grace, grace, to the building of the temple. Meaning grace, grace to what we're doing in that neighborhood, and grace, grace to what we're doing through our YouTube channel and any kind of ministry opportunities or whatever we might have, but just the grace to the physical building and the spiritual building of the house, of the temple of the Lord. And there's just going to be people crying grace, grace to it, because that's the end of Zechariah 4:7. Yeah, there can be attack and all that, but the Lord's like saying, nah, people are going to be looking at what God is doing, and they're going to be like, yes, let God do it. We bless this work. This is amazing. This is the Lord. Yes, praise the Lord for it, And then Tuesday, that was our treasure box prophecies night. And I had no idea. This is what you got to do if you really want to walk in just being led by the Lord and walk in the prophetic. You've got to be humble, first of all. You really do. You got to be teachable. You got to be okay being wrong, because you're going to be. Just settle that in, and it'll actually make it easier for you. Trying to be perfect, it's just going to mess you up.
Yeah.
And so I just knew that Tuesday I wasn't getting any message to share. I hadn't had any prophetic signs or anything. Not a ton that day. Not what you'll hear for the rest of the week, but I just knew. I just knew the Lord was like, go get the camera. We're going to get the camera. Just a sense of like, I need to get the camera. And I was like, I just knew I was going to prophesy over everybody because, meaning I was going to hear something from the Lord and I was just going to communicate it like a mailman. I'm nobody special. But I just saw all of us so weary, so burnt out. But we're here for the Lord. Lord, we're here for you today, right now, in this moment. Who are you to us right now? What are you speaking to our hearts right now? We've got this moment. We can give you this moment. So what we do have, we're going to give to you. Here you go. We're just so spent. But then the Lord showed me all of us as these treasure boxes. And I was like, whoa. And I knew He's like, I'm going to speak to every one of these. And,
I was just saying, yep.
Oh, I thought you saw something. I was like, oh, whoops. Is this an editing moment? What happened? And so I went, I got the camera, and the Lord I had no idea. This is what I mean by stepping out. I literally had no idea what He was going to do. I just knew that that's what He was directing me to do. And I was like, okay, this is either going to turn out great or I'm going to look real dumb. But oh well, that's what freedom means. Freedom. You're free to be dumb in the Lord and look dumb. No, I'm just kidding. That's not what it means. That's not how it's spelled. Free, D-U-M-B. No.
No.
Oh, that's a different kind of freedom. Huh?
You got it wrong there.
But it turned out really amazing.
It did.
The Lord just spoke so much encouragement, right? So much encouragement. Not only encouragement, but God's like, this is how I see you. Now you're getting ready to go into it. This is what you guys, this is what we're going into this.
Yeah.
We're going to develop this in all of you. And you guys are going to come out superheroes. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to be amazing just to hear the Father's heart and to see the Father's heart and to recognize this is what He's doing. This is what He's speaking. If what you're hearing is not lining up with that, then you are under no obligation to the Lord to listen to it, because it's not what He's saying, you know?
Yeah.
You know, just very encouraging. You know, you can always jump in and say anything you want to say on this stuff if you think of something.
I think
This
you're
is
covering
not
it
the
all.
Devin show.
Well, they already said, that's why I said it before, like this was your time in the bubble, so
Oh,
it's
that's true.
expected that you would be sharing pretty
That
much
I'll
all
be in
of
my
it.
bubble.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just love to hear from you. That's all. So anyway, Wednesday, no joke, I saw a triple 18, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. And there's so much of this stuff I really want to get into the story of, but I just can't, you know? And then I saw the 777 3 times, and I was like, wow, what's that about? Well, that means the manifestation of the release from prison. Because 18 is the number of release from prison. And Dr. Stephen Jones, we read his stuff on prophetic numbers and discerning what they mean and everything. And he's got so much information on it. It's amazing. And I just knew, like, wow, it's like the manifestation, because we're seeing it 3 times. It's the manifestation of the release from prison, and the 777, the manifestation of spiritual perfection and completion, the manifestation of an end. Because 7 just means a completion, like 7 days in a week, you know. Just 7 just means
or like
we're done.
like a fullness.
A
to
fullness,
something.
yeah. It's a fullness and a completion. You're ready for the new cycle of whatever it is. And so when you get released from a prison, that's an end of something. And it's an end of a judgment. It's an end of a sentence. It's an end of a particular time that you needed to be in this particular place. Noah, he was in a beautiful prison, but he was kind of in a prison. You know what I mean? He was meaning he was in he was in an ark that God put him in because of a judgment he was doing outside of the ark. You see what I'm saying? And so there came a time for him to be released from that. So you can kind of see it that way. Kind of. Joseph, he was having a triple 18 moment, because he was literally brought out, and that time that God had for him to be going through what he went through, because Joseph said, no, God took me through this process. You guys didn't do this to me. The Lord did it to me, and I'm grateful that He did. I wasn't in the beginning. I didn't even know it was Him in the beginning, but hey, you know, it's just like, but He's like, God took me through this so that many could be saved.
Yeah.
You know? And so the Lord was saying that. It's like, this is what you're going to experience in this new school time of your life, in this new training time of your life. It's going to be a manifestation of the release from prison, you know? And so I'm like, okay. So Thursday comes, and I see it. I'm not kidding. Do I need to say that every time? I don't know. I probably will, so get yourself ready. I saw 32, 32, 32. Just like that. And I saw it twice. Oh, no. You saw it later that night.
I did.
And I saw it early in the morning. And then we also saw a 533. Now, in this particular case, we saw a 533 twice, and then we saw another one later on.
Yeah.
But I really felt like the Lord was like, no, it's good. This is a manifestation thing I'm saying to you right now. And I'm just like, okay, cool. So what does this mean? Well, 32 is the number of covenant, especially as it pertains to father and son, you know, getting to know each other in a more mature way, you know. And I had an encounter. Was that my encounter with the Lord that morning?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, dude. It was the most amazing morning ever. But the Lord just told me, he's like, this is what I'm going to be doing with you. and he gave me this picture of Superman going to his Fortress of Solitude and learning all about Krypton from his father Jor-El. And he was like, that's what me and you are going to be doing over the next couple years. It's going to just be me and you. And I'm like, wow, okay, I don't even know all that means, but I receive it by faith, kind of like Mary. She's like, I don't even know what you're talking about, but I'll take it. Yes, may it be done unto me according to, I am the hand, I can't be the handmaiden. I'm the hand dude of the Lord. Be it done unto me according to your word, Father. If it's, it's like there's so much that goes into that, right? So much that goes into that morning. But what's the gist of all of those things? The 32 and the 533, the manifestation of it. It's a manifestation of a new relationship with God through a covenant where there will be a manifestation of being strong, mighty, and courageous. Because 533, is that in...
It's in Hebrew.
It's in Hebrew. H533 means strong and mighty. And right when I got that, I was like, oh, that's Joshua chapter 1. The Lord's talking about Joshua chapter 1, verses 5 through 9. Which is funny because we used to get the 159 all the time. And we were like, what does that mean, Lord? But it's the manifestation of Joshua chapter 1, which was an end of one era and the beginning of another. It was the end of the Moses era, the beginning of the Joshua time. And I felt like the Lord said, our lives are about to enter into an entirely new era. The old world and way of thinking is gone. The new has come. And it starts with a blessing and a promise and God being with us. Also a sign. And I just felt like the Lord said that to me. He was like, it's a sign as well. It's like there's a blessing and there's a promise, but it's like, just like I gave Noah the rainbow, I'm going to give you a sign that you look at, that you're going to know. But it's also like something that God looks at when he sees. It's like, it's going to be God with us, kind of like when you get married, you get the sign. That's the ring is just a symbol to you. It's really more to other people, like, hey, I'm taken, And so that was Thursday. Man, I think I'm doing pretty good here going through this, because I tell you what, we could do a 1-hour video on every one of these days. Now, on Thursday night, you gotta hear this. On Thursday night, the Lord led me, another long story, but the Lord led me to Ezekiel 37:10. And I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? And it says, and so, what does it say? And so I prophesied as I was commanded, or something like. And the Lord was like, stop right there. And I was like, oh, okay. You ever have the Lord do that, where he'll be like, he'll say, like, it's almost like he says half of a sentence and then he stops talking. It's like, what? I know there's more. What is it? Come on. I don't know why he does that, but he does that. At least to me, in my experience. It was like, because I was waiting, it was like for more revelation and insight, but I think in those times I've learned the Lord just wants you to sit and stew over why he stopped, so why don't you go ahead and stop and just what's it called, like marinate, or kind of sit in the thing that he's showing you before he says more, because he doesn't want you to skip over it. So it's like, okay. And I was like, oh, is there something you want me to prophesy? You're getting, because I don't have anything that you've commanded me to prophesy, but maybe that's the point. You're getting ready to tell me to prophesy into something, and I tell you what, sometimes I see the Lord in a way that's very not cinematic Jesus-like. You know what I'm saying? We have this idea of the Lord, and sometimes he behaves in a way that seems, it's just different. Like when he healed the man who came to him with leprosy and said, Lord, if you're willing, you can make me clean. And in the original language, it says Jesus felt deeply. And he's like, I am willing. I mean, almost to the point of tears. And he heals the man. And he says, he thrust him forth. But he says, listen. Basically, he's like, listen, don't tell anybody about this. Don't. Because it's like he was acting with deep emotion. Yeah. He wasn't saying, be blessed, man. No I even appreciate The Chosen and all that, but even I've never seen a movie or a depiction of that scene played out the way the Bible says it was actually played out. Because it's deep, because I don't think we're comfortable with that version of the Lord, you know? Yeah. We want him to be happy-go-lucky Jesus, you know? But during that Thursday night, I felt like the Lord, it was almost like he was like crouched in like this, and he was like, prophesy into your impossible and tell it to come to life. I mean, it was really bizarre, you know? I was just like, it's one of those moments where you go, is this the Lord? Come on, I'm not playing games here. Like, is this really the Lord? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Where you have those experiences where you start to question, because it's so different than how the Lord normally is to you. You know? And he was like, prophesy into your impossible. Did I say impossible or my future? Anyway, he said, prophesy into your impossible and tell it to come to life. So then I did. I began to prophesy into everything that the Lord has promised us, which I am telling you, if you know the Lord and you're waiting on a promise, you know how impossible yours is too. Ours is totally impossible, meaning like, if not for God, there's no way it's happening. There's no way it's happening. Yeah. We're talking Red Sea impossible. You know what I'm saying? And in our case, we've got like 3 seas that we need parted. You know what I'm saying? We got 3 seas in a river. I'll take 3 seas in a river, please. Would you like some fries with that? Well, sure. Why not?
Actually, I'll take 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish.
Yeah, we need that too. We'll take that for lunch. We're not even to dinner yet. No, I'm just kidding. And so I stepped out into it, and so there's times in prayer where you're praying to the Lord, you're pouring out your heart to the Lord, you're asking the Lord for something, you're asking the Lord for something for yourself, you're asking the Lord for something for someone else. That's called intercession. But then there's times where to prophesy and decree and command and say, let there be, you know? And that's pretty much what I did, you know? And then, later on in the week, because we're at the Thursday night here, later on in the week, I was like, oh, Lord, is this that part of the dream that I didn't dream? Because now I know, is this how I register for the school? Is this how I fill out my application and say, I would like to go here, please? Mm-hmm. Meaning I would like to go to this place of the manifestation of our house. I would like to go to this place of you showing your grace and your power over every obstacle. I would like to go to this place where we get released from prisons and there's a spiritual completion and we cross into a new era. Yes, I'm signing up. And so by prophesying, it's like that's what you're doing. You're manifesting. You're speaking and manifesting. That's another thing that's been going on this week. How many times, Michelle?
Quite a few times.
Have we been like, well, we'll say something and then boom, right then in that like 10 seconds, we'll see what we were just saying.
Yeah.
You see? We were saying it and then we saw it. Mm-hmm. You know, and there's just one particular example I come up with where I was on YouTube and my son was talking and I was like, oh, I've got the perfect thing for you. And I scrolled and this thumbnail popped up and it was a big word, perfect. And I was like, oh my word. I've got the perfect thing for you. And I scrolled, perfect. Like that kind of thing has been happening all week.
Yeah.
Has it not? And it's like, it's crazy. We'll be talking about it and then we'll see it. And that's the Lord saying, you're going to speak it and then you're going to see it. Mm-hmm. You're going to speak it and then you're going to see it, because that's what happens in manifestation when the favor of God is upon you to do his will and what he's doing and you coming into agreement with it and all that. So that was Thursday night, okay? Mm-hmm. And then, so Friday came and I kid you not, we lived like a whole week in one day. I mean, seriously, we did. It was so amazing because there were so many things that happened that day. I saw, okay, because this is a pattern that the Lord's doing all week. You know, I saw a 770. It was like boom, 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 just like that. 770. 2 times we saw this that day. Okay, I'm just setting up just Friday. I have to set this up. And then we saw a 777 that day. And I'm like, wow, this is just clear. By Friday, I'm like, this is clearly a pattern that God is doing. This does not happen. You look throughout any of our videos, and when we talk about prophetic numbers, which we don't always talk about that much, you will not see this happening.
Yeah.
And the 7777, and then we saw a 77726, and I was like, what is going on? And you know, and then so there's that. But then also, in light of like decreeing and declaring all the promises of God over our life and having things come to life, and you know, dry bones and all that stuff, you know, that morning, I wanted to go to the Lana Vosser, but I need to say this part first. That morning, I was having this conversation with the Lord, and he was telling me, like, he was speaking some really amazing things to me. I'll just say that. And it's like he put his hand on my shoulder, just like a father would do to a son that is mature and is ready to go to college or just get married or something like that. It's like you've arrived at this place, man. And he's like, and he put his hand on my shoulder, and he's like, it's time. And it's the exact same word he spoke to me before we moved here to this room, this glorious, blessed room that God's given us. And what did I get that word? I got it.
It's time.
Yeah. But then it was like a week later, less than a week later.
Oh, back then?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it on like late Monday or Tuesday, basically, and then you shared it with us, and then literally like
on that
night,
Sunday.
by that, yeah. So basically, you received it. By the time we got to here, it was less than a week.
Less than a week. Okay, and so we're talking Friday morning now. The Lord's like, it's time. And I can't really get into what it was time for, but it was all of this that I'm talking about, but it was more than that. Mm-hmm. You know, he's like, it's time, man. It's time for you to enter into this different place of your life. Mm-hmm. It's time. It's like, it's just time. And I'm like, okay, this is amazing. And so then Lana Vosser comes out with this. I should have pulled the post up, but Lana Vosser comes out with this prophetic word based on a dream she had, where she's like, the glory of God was so heavy, and it's time to see the manifestation of the glory of God. Basically, it's on my Facebook if you want to go see it. It should be pretty much right there at the top. And then at the very bottom, it said, it's time. And it was Isaiah 60, you know, arise and shine, for your light has come. And that's been one of those songs from the Belonging Co. that we've been listening to recently, about arise and shine. But the number 70 has to do with seeing, like seeing the manifestation of something. That's funny, just the number 70 itself has to do with seeing the manifestation of something. Mm-hmm. And we got 3 of them. Twice. And the number 77, that has to do with like being given things that might normally cost you money. They're not going to cost you money.
Yes.
They're just given. You know, it's without cost. Mm-hmm. That's what it means, without cost.
Yeah, I can't remember.
You probably already paid a price.
The Hebrew or the Greek. It's one of those two.
Greek. It doesn't matter. It's an H or a G.
But that's where we're getting it from. We're looking in the translation.
Right. Yes, because I'm not covering
Greek.
that. Thank you. Boom. And the 726, that's the same thing.
Yeah.
That has to do with, what is it? To seize, G726, to seize, carry off by force, to seize on, claim for oneself eagerly, and to snatch out or away. Okay, now, listen, I'm telling you, I really am nutshelling this, but it's like, when we got here in, basically the first Super Bowl,
it was 2018
for when we got here.
February.
We got here late.
At the very
2017.
end of 2017. Mm-hmm.
The 18th, by the way. It was a release from prison situation there. But that was the year that the Eagles were playing against the Patriots, right?
Yeah.
And felt like the Lord was like, the Eagles are going to win, because it's like my prophetic word, because everyone was all about American patriotism, but the Lord was like, my word is over American patriotism, you know, because there can still be a corruption in American patriotism. He's like, I'm going to triumph over this. And that was a day that we kept seeing 41 and 33, like literally all day. And we're like, what's going on? Why do we keep seeing this? And all day we just were not getting any revelation from the Lord at all. Or we're just like, okay, we just got to sit on it. We can't deny it because we're not getting revelation. It's just we got to sit on it. And that day, the Eagles beat the Patriots 41-33.
Yeah.
We about flipped.
We were amazed.
I was like, wow. And the funny thing is, we were getting the 70s. I'm reminded right now, we were getting the 70s at that time as well. Because eagles have amazing vision. You know, they can see far away. Or from far away, whatever. And so our daughter, who at the time, in 2018, how old was she? 7? Or she was not 7 yet.
Yeah, she was 6.
She's almost 7, but she's 6 years old. And she either gets a dream or a vision from the Lord at that time. And she saw this. She was like, I got a vision from the Lord. It was amazing, right? She's super sensitive to the Lord, super sensitive to the Spirit. She has a great relationship with God. I mean, I didn't think kids could have that. I don't know why. Maybe because of that separation of adults and kids, and you just don't get to experience that. You know, particularly as a single person growing up in the Lord, I just never saw that. But she comes down, she's like, I had this great, amazing vision. And I had a vision of an eagle. And right away we were like, what? Because we already knew the Eagles won.
Yeah, and that was the thing, is like, we didn't really watch the game, so it wasn't like they really knew anything
we weren't talking about it,
Super Bowl or anything like that. And so she was talking about the Eagles, and we're like, oh my gosh, you have no idea.
Yeah. And so she had this vision of this eagle, this giant eagle that came, and we were in a nest, and it came and scooped us up out of our nest, and then took us to this mountain and dropped us off on this mountain. And then she said it dipped its claw in ink and wrote the number of the address of the house that we were believing for. And I was like, wow. You know, I know that kids do stuff to get attention and all that stuff, but this was not one of those moments.
Yeah.
You know, and our kids don't normally do that when it comes to the things of God. And it blew my mind. And I was like, wow. And recently, I had this vision, I think it was this week. I had this vision of being in this giant eagle claw. I mean, it was wrapped around my whole body. It was wrapped around my whole body, but it was so big. It was like my body was still very small, almost like an eagle picking up a mouse. It would still have lots of claw space left.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it had gripped me tight, and I saw myself going. It was like I was laying on my side, and I could turn and see this cave. I was like, that's the cave we just came from. We were in there for so long, like the Croods. You know what I'm saying? We were just living in this cave forever, not knowing when we were ever going to get out. And I'm just watching it just disappear super fast. I'm getting taken into the air by this eagle. The wings. I mean, I could literally sleep on one feather, like a bed, you know, on one feather of this eagle. That's how big it was. And it's just taken off, and it's flying so fast that the cave is just dwindling to this little tiny mouse hole. And I'm just blown away, because I'm looking, I'm going, that's where we used to be. We're not in there anymore. We're not there. Like, wow. You know, that's what I was. Well, I'm in this eagle's claw, and that's what's amazing me. Nope. That's not what's amazing me. I'm going, wow, I'm being taken. That's where we used to be. Look at it. We're out of there. We're gone. Because I knew my family was in the claw as well. But and so all of that. I hope you guys got all of that. You're funny. The claw. A little Toy Story action for you. But that's a big setup for the 70s, the 77s, the 726s, this vision. It all kind of goes together. Because what does this mean? This is all manifestation stuff. It means the manifestation of the end of a time of judgment. Oh, because that's also what 70 means. It's the end of a time of judgment. The
Like
time,
with Babylon.
yeah, the time of the judgment of Israel that happened during Jeremiah's day came to an end. Time to go back to Babylon. No, time to get out of Babylon.
Yeah.
Get out of the culture. Get out of the. Some of y'all, you've been there for 50 years. You don't know any better. And so the Lord's like, let's get out of there, and we're going to go back to the homeland. And begin restoration. So it's the manifestation of the end of a time of judgment. The manifestation of seeing what the Lord promised. The manifestation of what has been asked for so many years. That's the 77, which
and that comes from Matthew 7:7.
Yes, thank you. The manifestation of the power of God to deliver from the strivings of the people. Because David said, "You've delivered me from the strivings of the people." He didn't. Joseph and David, they were delivered into the work that God had for them. That was the work. Being king was the work. Being basically. Both of them were kings. They were just, one was called a king, one was called a pharaoh. They were that was the work, and the Lord delivered them from the strivings of having to do all this stuff to produce provision for their family. He just delivered them from it. That's the whole to redeem without money part. And it's just the power of God in the situation is enough. The manifestation, so we're talking about the manifestation, the 726, the manifestation of the eagle who will come and take us by force, which is the power of God, and carry us away because God has chosen us and taken us up for himself as he did with Elijah, which would be fulfilling the eagle vision. It's like, this is what's going to be happening as you're going around looking at what this school has to offer, which God has led you to. This is this next phase of your life. It's going to be, see, because I thought it was me. I was like, oh, it's going to be a manifestation of this warrior spirit to the kingdom of God suffers violence, because the first time 726 is used is in Matthew 11:12. And from the days of John the Baptist until the present time, the kingdom of heaven has endured violent assault, and the violent men seize it by force as a precious prize. A share in the heavenly kingdom is sought with the most ardent zeal and intense exertion. I was like, oh yeah, I'm ready. Whoosh, bring out both my swords. Come on, let's go. And the Lord's like, nope. I mean, he showed me very clearly. It was the next day, but he was like, that's not about your zeal, buddy. It's about my zeal. It's about me seizing you by force and carrying you off by force and claiming you for myself eagerly, like I did with Elijah, because I was just like, I cannot live without this guy. He's so amazing. Can you imagine being a star in God's eyes? Can you imagine being a celebrity in the eyes of your Father? And he's just in awe of you, and he's gawking over you, and he's just like, oh, I just got to take you. You're so amazing. And I just believe that's what the Lord was saying. He was like, it's about me. I'm the eagle in the vision. I'm coming to take you. I'm coming to snatch you up. And that's the thing that really got me in that vision this week, is how fast I was going away. And it represents the intensity and the force and just the passion and the love and the in-loveness with which God carries you away. Because it speaks to one of our another scripture that God's spoken to us many times, which is Song of Solomon 8:14. And it says, and with unconcealed eagerness she just poured out her heart and said, my shepherd, come to me. Don't wait, don't delay. Come and take us to our awaiting home on the mountains of spices. And it's basically just about, come on, let's go start this life. We've been playing romance this whole time. Let the book end, let the story end by you coming and taking me. You come and take me to our home on the mountains of spices that you've prepared and you've done. And you see what I'm saying? And that's the Lord's like, that's what I'm talking about. And then this is like what do we call it? The cherry on the icing of the cake or something. I don't know. So Saturday came, which of course for us is the end of our week. And I'm not kidding you. I saw 38, 38, 38. And I was like, wow. But not only that, but it was like Matrix raining 38s all over the place. And that God was just highlighting it. And I was like, okay, well, 38 has to do with, well, this is what it means. The manifestation of 38. It's the manifestation of one's calling or life's work and purpose. For this is the true authority that each one possesses in his heart. 30 being the number of authority, 8 being the number of, it is the number of new beginnings, but it's the number of the inner chamber, the what's on the inside, what's hidden on the inside. And so it was like the authority of the inner chamber, which speaks to a new beginning. But it also speaks to basically one's calling, one's life, work, and purpose. And the Lord's like, that's what you're going to experience here. Through this door to this grand high school. This school is high. It is a high school. It's for the higher. You know what I mean? It's only God can put you here. Only God can accept your application and say, approved, you're in. You know what I mean? He's like, I want to give you an orientation. I want to show you what you're going to be going into your calling, into your life's work and purpose. The Lord told me, he gave me back in 2017 of August, I titled it the 8 prophetic P's of August, right? And because he woke me up on August 1st at 6 o'clock in the morning. That didn't happen. Everyone was sleeping, and I knew I was supposed to go out to the car, set up the camera, make a video. And he gave me these 8 prophetic P's. It's like, this is what you're getting ready to experience. And that was in August of 2017, and there was 8 of them. And the last one was potential. And I just felt like the Lord was like, it's time for the potential. That prophetic P called potential. It's like you've heard from the prophets. You've felt my power. You've seen you're in the place. You've met some people. All of these things have been taking place since then. And it's like even potential to a certain degree. But the Lord's like, nah. This is like, we're going to highlight. This is going to be the highlighted one, the 8th one, which of course 8 is the number of new beginnings. And 38 represents that new beginning of one's life's work and purpose. And you still with me?
I think so.
And so, yeah, it was just like the potential, and the Lord just showed me, it's like everything that I've put in you, everything that I've made you to be, for this is the true authority that each one possesses in his heart, is the calling, the DNA, that which God spoke you into existence for. Here, I want you to do this. I want you to accomplish this. Rose, I want you to blossom and be red and just cool looking. Sunflower, I want you to grow really tall and this is what I want you to do. So then to not do that is kind of a bummer, right? And it's like every one of us has that in us. This is what I want you to do, and I feel like that's what we're going into. And so that's kind of been like that's been our week. And so there's other things that we could share, but that might be getting into next week.
Yeah.
Because that's this morning's God time. But that's kind of been our week. That's been this whole scene of the Restoration Play has been me touring this high school, looking around at all the different cool and everything that I've toured, everything that I've seen. And the Lord said I was going to start seeing this at the beginning of the week. And sure enough, everything I've seen, I'm just like, I love it. Sign me up. But I believe that Thursday night that he said, prophesy into your impossible and tell it to come to life. That was me signing up for all of this.
Yep.
And I'm like, we are getting ready to see it. There's a faith that you can walk in where you don't have to muster it up, and you don't have to be like, oh Lord, is it true? Is it true? There's just a manifest. It's almost like God gives you his own confidence and says, forget yours. Here, just take mine. Mm-hmm. Forget your faith. Take mine. Mm-hmm. And you just like, you're so rested in it. I'm like, why can't it be like this all the time, Lord? It's like, well, because then you wouldn't develop. You know, it's like, for this that I'm doing, I want you to know for a certainty that this is me speaking to you, and this is what I'm going to be doing. This is what you're going into. Do you want to sign up for it? You know, and it reminded me of my time of going to YWAM in good old Fayetteville, Arkansas, coming at you. Was actually Elm Springs, Arkansas, but the time before that, it was just so much preparation. It was so much like what we're going through right now, and it's like it was really the end of one era and going to another. It was leaving this one place down here, taking this elevator up to this new place, and being like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And it was a completely brand new life, and that's kind of what this week's been about. Just looking at the brochure of this school, and then experiencing it and seeing it for myself prophetically, spiritually, in this bubble that you were talking about. So,
and then signing up for it.
Pretty much.
It's like, all right, I sent my application in and I'm just waiting for acceptance.
I remember talking to that girl in my dream. I was like, where are we? What is this place? I was like, I need to be here.
Yeah.
This is where I belong, right here. My heart is just singing. You know, I'm here, up in this place with my dad. He wants me to sing him a song. I'm here now, Daddy. Sign me up for the miraculous. You know?
That comes from Elf, if you don't know.
If you don't know, turn the video off right now. You're off the team. No, I'm just kidding. Just joking.
Anyway.
But that's it. Yeah, I mean, you can see how long the video is right there. But I don't really care about the video length when it comes to this kind of stuff. It's just like, it's so like, wow, look at the pages of this story that the Lord is writing here. It's like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I love it. I love every little bit of it, man. And it just me talking about it just makes me come alive. You know, because I'm so excited for all the visions and everything that we've been working. I mean, like the vacations and the different road trips planned and all the different things that the Lord's have us do. And, you know, the writing has come up, the songwriting has come up, and it's just like, oh, this is saying
this
hello.
Week, I mean, literally,
you know?
like, what Devin just gave you is like layer one. Because
you see what I'm saying?
It really has, like, this week, like you said, so much.
It's taken us over an hour to talk about it, and it literally is just layer one.
Yeah, there's so much that God was just speaking to in regards to just really the heart work, like the life's work, the purpose, the destiny, and what He has for us. And He was bringing it up, and it was really cool. I mean, to just be able to talk about some of the things that it's like, wow, we haven't brought this up in forever, you know, particularly
that's
like your
been our
story.
whole week.
Yeah,
like, wow, this hasn't come up. It's been a saying hello.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. How are you? Where
have you been? Oh,
you're here now.
Let's
okay.
Reintroduce and
or you're just gonna come in for some tea and then you're gonna leave anyway. You're gonna be gone for another 2 years. We know how this goes. And like, nope, I'm here now. Like, oh, you are? You're here now. Vision. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But, so it's been just a packed week for sure in so many ways.
Just Friday alone had so much to it. Oh my gosh. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like so many confirmations and words. It was just really awesome.
So I think that's what we have for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this and just gleaned something from it, and that you are blessed. And so that is our Act 3, Scene 9, and just that God is, you just basically have been in the bubble with the Lord, and God's packed it jam full with a lot in regards to what we're going into, and basically like, hey, this is what I have for you. This is my vision for you and your family. And so Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else, unless you had something else to say.
No, I'm just amazed. Blown
All
away.
right. Well, until next time, guys.
Yep, we love you guys.
and we'll see you later.
More story to come.
Bye.
Bye.